Hey yo, welcome to our channel today. I have been unfaithful. I can't live with you any longer. Please, we need to separate. One day at dinner, my wife, Lily, told me that it came out of the blue, but it's typical for Lily to suddenly inform me of her decisions. Moreover, the answer is always predetermined, and Lily never changes her decision once she has made it. So even when faced with significant decisions that would impact both of our lives, just like before, I didn't particularly argue against it. Of course, I never thought that it would be okay to get a divorce. However, at that time, I was in a situation where I felt that even if Lily cheated on me or demanded a divorce, there was nothing I could do about it. It was because the company I was working for went bankrupt due to the economic downturn caused by the global financial crisis known as the Lehman Brothers shock, which occurred in the late 2000s. After losing my job, I desperately searched for a new job, not so much for myself, but for Lily's sake. However, despite sending my resume to dozens of companies, I only managed to secure interviews with 3 of them. I didn't even make it to the final interview stage with those 3 companies either. Facing the harsh reality that even with about 5 years of experience working for a subsidiary of a major automotive manufacturer, it didn't hold much weight. I felt my spirit break. It was truly the luckiest moment of my life to secure a job at my previous company. I recalled the moment when I received the job offer letter from my previous company. My biggest challenge during job hunting was the interviews. In addition to already being uncomfortable with public speaking, at that time, many companies were using group interviews, which made it even more challenging for me. Moreover, the company where I was accepted had a group discussion as part of the selection process. At the table where I was seated, there were students who took the lead in expressing their opinions, others who summarized everyone's opinions and presented new ideas, and some who pointed out the flaws in other people's opinions. They were all desperate to make a good impression on the interviewers, just like me. As for me, I was completely overwhelmed by the atmosphere, and I couldn't even articulate 1/10 of what I had in mind. After the discussion ended, I felt deeply discouraged by my inability to contribute anything. I thought to myself, there's no way I would pass, not even by some stroke of luck. So when I received the job offer letter, contrary to my expectations, I was convinced it must be some kind of mistake. When I checked the contents of the envelope, Lily, who was beside me, rejoiced as if it were her own achievement. Believe in yourself. People who truly understand your worth will recognize it, Lily said while patting my back. Lily and I met in a university club since we both entered the faculty of law. Let's study law together in a wide range of areas. Before the start of the first lecture, Lily and a few others entered the classroom, and I became intrigued by Lily's lively presentation about the club in front of the students. Shortly after starting our studies, when I peeked into the club room with a male friend I had become close with, it was Lily who gave us the explanation about the club. The club, despite its formal-sounding name Legal Research Society, was described as a casual group whose main purpose was to foster connections through drinking parties and sports events. Lily played the role of a coordinator for new club members and efficiently carried out her responsibilities. As I tend to be more laid back by nature, perhaps there was something about Lily that initially attracted me to her. During the welcome party for new club members, the topic of our hometowns came up in conversation, and I discovered that Lily and I were from the same area, living just about 2 train stops away from each other. That became the starting point for us to bond, and from then on, Lily and I often found ourselves getting excited discussing our shared hometown experiences. I believe another reason why we could easily talk was that I had taken a gap year, so I was the same age as Lily. During the first summer vacation after I entered the university, we decided it would be nice to go home together since we had the opportunity. There wasn't any particular reason for me to decline, so I agreed. However, for some reason, Lily got off at the same station as me. I want to see the town where you were born and raised, even if just a little bit. Seeing my puzzled expression, Lily smiled and explained it with a cheerful tone. However, at that time, I felt a slight awkwardness being together with Lily. It was because my mother was supposed to be waiting at the station to pick me up. My mother was standing right in front of the ticket gate, and she had a slightly surprised yet happy expression on her face. The reason became clear. It seemed like she clearly misunderstood and thought that Lily was my girlfriend. So I decided to clarify things right away. This young lady is. Before I could introduce Lily as my senior at the university, she spoke up. I am in a relationship with Jack. I'm Lily. I froze in place at the sudden words uttered by Lily. Lily looked at me with a mischievous smile while giggling. My mother responded with a confused, well, okay then. And then she asked, so, how about coming to our house now? In response, Lily said, I'm truly tempted by your kindness, but my parents are also waiting for me at home. I'll have to take a rain check for another opportunity. With those words, she passed through the ticket gate once again and headed toward the platform. On the way back home, my mother bombarded me with questions about Lily. That night, I sent a message to Lily. What do you mean by all of that? A few minutes later, I received a reply that said, I just expressed my feelings honestly. The rest is up to you. I responded with a simple got it. In the immediate reply, it said, what do you mean by got it? It's either we're together or we're not. There are only two options for an answer. I responded with, I want to be in a relationship with you, and sent the message. In response, I received a message saying, all right then. From that moment on, I believe our hierarchical relationship was established between me and Lily. During my job search, I didn't have any particular company in mind that I wanted to join. Even the choice of where to send my applications was decided after discussing it with Lily. Don't you have any initiative of your own? I was repeatedly cautioned by Lily, but each time I would respond with something like, I have Mother Lily, the absolute deity, with me, so everything will be fine. Indeed, at that time, I had little awareness of making decisions about my own life. I was always receiving advice from Lily, while saying, I'm truly discouraged with you. Lily would always provide me with precise advice. I believe Lily probably knew more about me than I did myself. For years after graduating from the university, I married Lily. I believe that our life together after that was going smoothly. Therefore, when Lily suddenly confessed to cheating on me, I was deeply shocked. Tomorrow morning, I will be leaving this house. As I am solely at fault, I will agree to whatever compensation you suggest. Please contact the lawyer I will appoint for further arrangements. Lily declared after delivering her words without any emotional expression. She entered the bedroom, and I couldn't even say a word or take any action in response to Lily. Frustrated with my own helplessness, I couldn't sleep at all that night. Early the next morning, I heard the sound of Lily waking up and getting ready. I wanted to wake up immediately and speak to her right away. However, I didn't know what to say or how to approach the situation, so I remained still in bed. After I heard the sound of Lily closing the door and everything became quiet, I left the bedroom where I had been sleeping. At the dining table, breakfast was prepared for me. Next to it, there was a divorce document, the wedding ring, and the house key placed there. A note with the words, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for everything up until now, was also left behind. I collapsed in despair, and I cried out loud, sobbing. Tears overflowed from my eyes in such abundance that I couldn't believe there were so many tears within me. I eventually realized that I had fallen asleep on the floor of the dining room. With no motivation to do anything, I stared at the ceiling, feeling lost. As I remained in a daze for a while, the image that emerged in my mind was Lily's smiling face. What's the point now? I kept shaking my head, thinking that way, but Lily's smile wouldn't fade from my mind. It was then that I realized once again how much I truly loved Lily, and I thought to myself, I should be a man that Lily can be proud of. Some people might think that I'm being too sensitive or that there's no need to stand by a cheating partner. However, regardless of what others may think, I still firmly believed and trusted that Lily was my greatest ally and understanding partner. Afterward, I worked tirelessly and wholeheartedly. I took on tasks that I was not naturally inclined towards, such as sales as a contract employee, and also gained experience in more manual labor-oriented jobs. Due to the unfamiliar physical labor, there were times when I couldn't move the next day due to exhaustion. One day, I received a call from my former boss at the previous company. I have an acquaintance who is recruiting staff for a children's care facility. If you're still looking for work, would you be interested in giving it a try? It seemed that my former boss, who had been contacting me from time to time, had been keeping an eye on me since I hadn't found a job yet. At that time, I had changed from my previous passive self and had become more proactive in facing various challenges. Through various jobs, I had developed a stronger mindset of let's challenge anything and everything. Please count me in. I readily accepted my former boss's offer without hesitation. At the children's care facility, there were various types of children: cheerful ones, quiet ones, restless ones, quick-tempered ones, easily angered ones, and many more. However, many of those children had experienced things that I couldn't even imagine despite their young age. I looked back on my life and deeply felt the naivety and indulgence I had carried with me all along. As I sincerely engaged with the children, who were honest with their feelings, I realized that my own heart was being healed in the process, and I began to think, maybe this is the place where I truly want to work. With my doubts gone and a lighter heart, I was able to interact with the children in a more natural and genuine way. One day, while I was doing desk work, I was called by the facility director. As soon as I entered the director's office, I froze in place. It was because Lily's parents were there. Both of them had solemn expressions on their faces. "All right then, I'll leave you to talk amongst yourselves." Saying so, the facility director left the room. A few days later, on my day off from work, I was heading toward a beach park nearby. That park was a place full of memories where Lily and I used to take walks after getting married. She had already arrived at the bench overlooking the harbor where the yachts were moored. "Long time no see." As I greeted her, Lily turned around and asked, "It's been a while. How have you been?" I sat down on the bench, leaving a little space between me and Lily, who was already seated. "You didn't, did you? Cheat on me," I said. At that moment, I believed there was no need for beating around the bush, so I asked straightforwardly. Upon hearing that, Lily nodded silently. "I heard most of the story from your parents," I said. Lily's parents told me why she had brought up the idea of divorce with me, and they also informed me about how she had been living. It seemed that Lily had brought up the topic of divorce with me because she felt that it was her responsibility for not actively searching for a new job, even when I had lost my job. She believed that it would be the same cycle if she continued to search for a job together with me as it had been before. Therefore, she believed that divorce was the best way for both of us to make a fresh start on our paths. However, she couldn't imagine that I would accept the idea of divorce if she just brought it up in a straightforward manner. So Lily seemed to have faked an affair on her part to manipulate me into accepting the divorce. She explained that she didn't show much emotion during the divorce discussion because she was afraid that if she became emotionally involved, she would start crying. After returning to her parents' home, Lily apparently became so depressed that her parents grew concerned about her well-being. Lily's parents had thought about telling me the truth several times, but she had stopped them from doing so. And it turned out that her parents had heard about me working at the child welfare facility and had visited the facility to see me. When I heard about that, I thought, isn't that going a bit too far? However, Lily replied, "I thought that you needed this kind of tough love in order to start fresh and carve out a new path for yourself from scratch." When I asked, "Didn't you think I would remarry?" Lily replied, "At that time, it was what it was. I was prepared to accept that it was our fate." "You're such a determined person," I murmured so and continued. "But after hearing the story from your parents, I also realized that you have your own vulnerabilities. From now on, I want you to show me those weaknesses as well." In response to my words, Lily continued speaking, "That's all up to you from now on." They shared a knowing smile between them. At that moment, I thought to myself, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. I want to cherish the happiness I found, even if it took a detour in life, and treasure it for the rest of my life. Thank you, dear viewers, for taking the time to listen to our heartfelt story. Your support means the world to us. If you found our journey relatable or inspiring, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends and loved ones, and most importantly, subscribe to stay connected with more stories from our lives. Your encouragement fuels our passion, and we are immensely grateful for each and every one of you. Here's to the strength in sharing, understanding, and growing together. Until next time, thank you for being a part of our community.